myths about homelessness, new additions to Lexington's police force, and keeping wipes out of our pipes. This and more up next on this week's edition of Lexington Now. I'm Neil Noah, and this is Lexington Now for the week of March 25th, 2019. Homelessness can have a lot of stigma attached to it, but as we found out, a lot of that stigma is grounded in myth.
We hear a lot of myths. Mental illness causes homelessness. That is a myth. Substance abuse causes homelessness. That is a myth. The only thing that truly we can kind of say causes a homeless episode is the lack of support. That's it. So if anybody asks you what causes homelessness, you can now say it's just a lack of support. So think back in your life about how many times you had a crisis, a medical bill, a broke down car, making the decision to pay rent or, buy a pair of shoes for your child or put food on the table. So when we talk about financial crisis or a mental health crisis or a domestic violence crisis, it's all about the support that surrounds you. A lot of people will fight desperately and reach out to any support possible in order not to become homeless. That's a good portion of our population, those right on the verge of becoming homeless. They still have enough support, friends, family, they know who to call, they know who to go to for rental assistance or a little bit of help. Those people will rarely come into our system because of their support systems. Then you talk about the individuals who don't have a big support system and they don't know who to call in a crisis. And they call too late. They've already been served an eviction. They have 7 days to get out. The best that we can help those is to guide them into shelter, which means they're coming into our homeless system. And that means we become their support system. And when that happens, we have to, as a system, become someone's friends, families, and support. And when we look at the population of homelessness, and the myths that surround it as far as mental health and substance abuse. When you look at it in the totality, you don't see it when you look at the entire system. Where you start to see a majority of mental health or a majority of substance abuse are those that have entered the homeless system and have remained in the homeless system and are living on the streets, do not engage our homeless system. Those are individuals that are no longer trying to work their way out of homelessness, but are striving within their homelessness. It becomes their identity. And those, about 25% of our total. So we serve over 5,000 individuals and children each year, annually, here in Lexington and Fayette County within our homeless system. About 25% of those report to us of having a mental illness, and about 35% report having a substance abuse issue. The rest just lack the support systems to remain homed, I guess is the best way to put it. And we became their support system and rehoused them. So I guess where people see, quote unquote, see homeless individuals are those that are living on our streets, that have been in the system and are now identified and have actually embodied a homeless identity. And those individuals are more likely to have a mental health issue or substance abuse issue, and they are thriving in their homeless occurrence. They're no longer trying to battle to get out of homelessness. They no longer know what it's like to be homed. They have been in their homeless occurrence so long that it becomes their identity. And those are the individuals that a lot of people see on the streets. I always tell people there's 50% of our population that you will never see because they come in and out of our system in less than 45 days, and we rehouse them and they probably will not come back into our system. The likelihood of them becoming homeless again is really low. Those are the light touches that people often don't see. If you go into any of our shelters, you're going to see a large portion of those shelters that those individuals don't have a mental illness or a substance abuse issue. They've had a crisis and they've lacked their own individual support system, so they've come into our support system to be rehoused.
Lexington is the horse capital of the world, and its renowned mounted police force has just added 2 new members to its rank.
Everyone loves the Clydesdales. They are beautiful. They're very impressive looking horses. Winchester is slightly older. He's coming 6 years old this year, and Remington is going to be 5 years old this year. The training process can take a long time, and that's one of the things that's always a challenge, with horses, is that they take a long time to mature mentally and physically. And the goal would be within a year that they would be ready to work and, start doing the normal police duties. With these guys, what we're looking at is when I introduce a new obstacle or when a loud sound happens or something startles them, that their reaction is to just check back in with me and to just look, and then we can go investigate it together. So that's probably one of the biggest things we look for with those horses. And then just the teachability. Do they want to learn? Are they easy to teach? And both of these horses have shown that, just in this first month. Winchester, definitely the older one, he's very impressive looking, but he's a little more stoic in his curiosity. He kind of likes to look glorious and fabulous. Remington he's the cute little brother right now. He's still got some growing up to do, but he's super curious and a lot of fun to work with. The focus is on what's best for the horse and preparing the horse to the best of our ability before we put them out on the street. And that is something that really matters to me as a trainer and as a horse person, that I want the horse to be successful, and the officers here want the exact same thing.
When we come back, keeping wipes out of our pipes.
Living in the bluegrass means we're lucky to have the softest and greenest grass around. But sometimes when people take pride in their lawn, they overdo it, using pesticides and herbicides to make their lawn look perfect. These chemicals are not only harmful to wildlife and the environment, but humans and pets as well. So let's use something more natural. Chemical products like this do more damage than meets the eye. First, they harm wildlife, including beneficial insects like bees and butterflies. Second, chemicals from these products wash away when it rains. This chemical runoff pollutes our watersheds, flowing into creeks and harming the ecosystem. Here are a few tips when it comes to mowing. Don't mow shorter than 3 inches. Mow more often and avoid cutting more than 1/3 of the leaf when you mow. Don't mow when it's too hot or too dry. Keep the mower blade sharp and set at the highest setting. Kentucky gets a lot of rain, but during dry spells in the summer, it's better to water deeply and less often. For better soil, spread a 1/2 inch of compost or natural fertilizer over the grass and rake it in, or spray a natural fertilizer before watering. Don't throw yard waste in the streets, and be sure to put any lawn clippings in the gray yard waste cart. Everything that goes in the gray yard waste cart will be ground into mulch. Lawn care is sometimes more of an art than a science. It's okay to treat your lawn well, but avoid using chemicals. The bees will thank you for it.
This little tree means a lot to Lexington's future. Trees capture carbon and reduce air pollution. Tree canopies give us shade and protect our streams. Trees' deep roots allow rain to filter into the soil rather than running off lawns and driveways, picking up litter, pet waste, and lawn chemicals before washing down storm drains straight to our local creeks. Plant a tree this spring and protect our priceless natural resources for tomorrow.
Welcome back to Lexington Now. There's an issue that has grown in recent years: wipes clogging our sewer pipes. Jennifer Myatt explains how you can help wipe out the problem.
I'm Jennifer Myatt, and I'm out here at the Wolf Run pump station. Lexington has over 80 pump stations as part of its sanitary sewer system. And what a pump station does is lift the sewage up into the pipes that it needs to go to in order to get to the wastewater treatment plant. And we have 2 of those, but those 80 pump stations work to get the sewage that comes from your sinks and toilets and kitchens into the wastewater treatment plants. So this pump station behind me is one of our bigger pump stations, but we have a problem that happens sometimes at all of our pump stations, and that is that flushable wipes can get tangled in the equipment and be a costly problem to solve. So you've probably been at the grocery lately and seen next to the toilet paper that flushable wipes have become very popular. And while they say flushable on the package, and that might kind of be true, it doesn't mean that they're good for your sewer system. They may flush down your toilet, but they can get stuffed in your sewer pipes and cause sewer backups into your home. And even if they make it out of your sewer pipes, that doesn't mean they won't cause problems in the city pipes. But you don't have to take my word for it, because I'm going to show you exactly why they cause problems. So what I have here is some toilet paper, which you've probably seen before, and a flushable wipe, which you have also probably seen before. And I have 2 bottles of water. And you can do this experiment at home so you can show your friends and your family what I'm about to show you. So if you put the toilet paper into the bottle of water, and you want to put the cap back on so you don't make a mess, because you're going to shake it up. So this is what happens when you flush your toilet and everything goes down your sewer. You have toilet paper that has fallen apart. It is disintegrated. It's basically just going to flow with the water. So it won't cause any problems in your sewer pipes. It will just flow down your pipes and into the city pipes, through the pump stations, and to our sanitary sewer wastewater treatment plants. However, if you put a flushable wipe into this bottle of water, you will see a much different result. It's bubbly because it has soap on it, but you can see that it hasn't disintegrated at all, and that you can in fact just pull it out. So this is what it looks like when it goes through your sewer pipes. So if there are tree roots or any kind of blockage from fat soils and grease or anything in your pipes, this can get stuck, and even a lot of them together can get stuck, and they'll cause a blockage in your pipes at your house. If they make it all the way to a pump station, they can cause a blockage in the pump station equipment, and that's very expensive to fix. So you might be saying, but I really like flushable wipes, and that's fine. But all you have to do is, instead of flushing it down the toilet, keep a trash can with a bag and a lid in your bathroom, and you can put your flushable wipes in there, because your toilet should not be used as a trash can.
Our continuing series on Lexington history features a well-known landmark, Old Morrison.
In 1829, when Transylvania University's administration building was destroyed by fire, then Transylvania trustee and teacher Henry Clay recruited famed architect Gideon Shryock to replace the burned structure. Shryock, known for his mastery of the Greek Revival architecture, The building resembles the traditions of the era, with a likeness that could easily be found in the nation's capital. Dedicated in 1833 and made possible by a gift from Colonel James Morrison of $31,000 to cover the cost. Thus the building received the name Morrison Hall, but soon was affectionately known as Old Morrison. Over the years, it served as an administration building, an academic building, and a chapel. In the midst of the Civil War, Morrison Hall served as a hospital and prison for both the Union and Confederacy. Recognized as a National Historic Landmark in 1966, the building required extensive renovation after a fire destroyed much of the interior in 1969.
An innovative approach to live performance has made its way to Lexington. It's called So Far.
Hi, I'm Samantha Ayers, and I'm the city leader for So Far in Lexington. So Far stands for Songs from a Room. So Far Sounds is a community of people that create music events that happen in unique spaces with an undisclosed lineup. So it's usually 3 artists that play for 30 minutes, and you don't know who they are until you get there.
So who's playing tonight?
So we don't find out actually until we get to the venue. They sent me an email yesterday telling me what the venue is, but we don't know who it is until we get there.
So where are we going?
It's Smiley Pete Publishing up on Old Vine.
Cool.
Yeah, I thought it sounded cool.
Once we put the event online, you apply for tickets, and then we make an announcement like, hey, we're accepting tickets now, and people can go on and purchase them for them and their friends. Usually we like to find places that are not your standard venue per se, hair salons or just office spaces or restaurants, coffee shops, whatever, people's houses, just unique spaces. That's one thing that's really neat about So Far is that it is happening like all over the world, and I think it's definitely cool to think that on the same day that there's people all around the world experiencing a similar sort of event and loving music.
Rainy Sunday afternoon, we were consuming lots of deeds and trans-saturated tunes. Yeah. Cutting calls from breathless stocks, cash it in for Harvard talks of the LHC, me seeking common corporate sensibilities. I love everything, I love everything. Back to 5-speed parking lots, traded in for duct tape plexi. Oh my heavy upper management, we spent so much time together. I love everything, I love everything.
Especially for a new band that hasn't had a lot of exposure in other cities, to be able to come into a brand new city, a brand new space with a brand new group of people and have their attention for 30 minutes listening to your music, that's not something that you can find in a bar. So for the artists themselves, I think So Far is a really valuable experience just for that fact alone, that people are being attentive and giving their time and attention to your music.
I think I am done here. I've got places to be. I'm familiar, I'm suspecting, more deserving of my time. I am my own experiment, taking in the chemicals, watching Species, my mind. Species, my mind. Species, my mind. Species, my mind. Beside itself.
People get sent an email after each show where they can leave feedback about the shows to let us know like what they're enjoying and what they would want to see more of or whatever. So people often say that they like the diversity in the kind of music and that they just enjoy like the intimate, like unique space that it's in.
Chris Edwards joins us now with a preview of our live meeting coverage for this week. Chris, what do we have?
It's springtime in Lexington, so that also means it's time for spring break. Because of this, the council is going to be off the weeks of March 25th and April 1st. So there are only a couple of meetings to tell you about which will be live here on Lex TV this week. First, on Wednesday, March 27th at 5 p.m. is the Board of Architectural Review meeting. Then on Thursday, March 28th at 1:30 p.m. is a Planning Commission meeting. This week's meeting agenda are all zoning items. There'll be no meeting scheduled for the week of April 1st, but stay tuned for the week of April 8th when we'll have many more meetings to tell you about, including Mayor Gordon gives her first budget address on her proposals for the fiscal year 2020 budget. That'll be at 3 p.m. on April 9th here on Lex TV. Neil?
Thanks, Chris, and thank you to all of you for joining us. That's all for this week. You can keep up with us on social media and check out the latest traffic updates on Twitter at LexRex, or catch our live traffic cams on LexingtonKY.gov. For the staff and producers at Lex TV, I'm Neil Noah, and that's it for now.